All right, so we're going to hit a hands-on now that I've done it before for different things. This one's a fun one. And basically, I take a lot of data from different places. I put them into one system, and then I can use that to help me find potential work that's open for contract work. And it has a lot of the stuff we're doing every day, automations, aggregation of data into one place. We'll see about vectorizing. I'll tell you why in a moment. And then just using AI to help find the right data for the right person or vice versa. But the vectorization thing, we'll cover that. It's just the hard part about doing a course is everything keeps changing and for the better. And one thing about RAG or vectorized data is in this particular case, in this very practical hands-on, the context window of an LLM is getting so big that a lot of stuff is leaning towards cache or in memory or just putting everything in the context window. So when you think Google Gemini has a 2 million context window for data tokens, and you could stick numerous like books in there, it gets a little trickier to find the balance between RAG and vectorizing and not. In this particular example, we're going to build a job scraping, job finding solution. But the thing is, it's not going to do what you typically see with job websites. It's going to use the LLM's ability to understand the data to find out matches for you. And what I mean by that is you don't search for, I'm a Next.js developer, for example. You search for anything that's come up, or you look in anything that's come up to see if anything matches your overall skills and goals. So if my goal is to build websites for people, it might not matter that I do it in one language and they want another, or even the other way around. If I say, hey, I like to build websites in X, their job posting might not mention X, and then it's easy for the system to just overlook it. So what we're going to do is focus more on this idea of like just context. Who am I? What do I like to do? What can I do for you? Oh, here's the 5 job postings that came in today. Getting data into a system and not going too far. I was going to show Supabase, which I'll do eventually, even your own self-posted Supabase. But instead, I'm going to show NoCoDB, which is a spreadsheet system, just like Google Sheets, which would work too, which I'm using. Actually, I'll do one with Google Sheets and one with NoCoDB. And my point to that is you don't have to build these complex things to store data, especially when you're just proving an idea working with a small subset of people. You can just use spreadsheets and these tools that we're all used to using to quickly whip up data storage, data retrieval, and UIs to show data, whether it's just a simple Google Doc or a chart you put in a spreadsheet. So this will show a bit of how to maybe lower your thinking in a good way. All right, so let's hit it. So first, we have to get the data. Now, one of the things is one of these particular places kept emailing me information. So I started to grab those emails and send them to the system. So let me grab that one. And so what we have here is an email node. And basically, it's just going to keep an eye on a particular email box. And it will mark them as read as they come in. And as you can see here, let's see if I can get this into a better view. We have our text and we have our data coming in. Easy to set up. I think my biggest struggle here was I tried to share one email box with multiple automations. And even when I had none of them marking them as read, I still had issues where it just wasn't working, like a race condition I couldn't figure out. So I just decided to make email boxes for each automation. And I'm not happy with that either because I haven't figured out a way to self-host that. I just got to do some more research because emailing is hard. Having an email box is not hard. So there has to be a service that will give me that without charging me $5 a box. But in the meantime, I use this particular box for job postings. And basically when emails come into my email, or if I sign up for a job posting site, I can have it sent right to it. And when emails come to any of my Gmail, I then just forward it to it. So you can see it's a nice, easy way to push data into a system. We're also going to look at a regular feed and do that as well, but I just want to do this one first. So what we're going to do is take that data and just put it into a spreadsheet. Now I have this spreadsheet already. One thing to remember about N8N and probably any of these systems like active pieces is that moving data around becomes quite easy. Easy. It's kind of part of their core functionality. Take advantage of that as you want to move data from one system to another, which we're basically doing with email. But if you want to move it from a spreadsheet to a database later on, and we're going to put data into the spreadsheet that later on we'll read. So if I was to take this particular item here, and if it came in, I can then go to that spreadsheet and just put that data in there. So now that spreadsheet is here, and I think, so we're going to go here and we're going to take a prompt. Now, what I've been doing lately is prompting what they call a hot prompt. And in this case, we're just going to go for a Google Doc. Again, you start to see how nice docs are, and we're going to get a document. And I'm going to put that URL in it. And so basically, I'm going to go test that. And when I get it, we get results from that document. Now, if I go to that document, let me rename this one moment. If we go to that document, we see it has a prompt. Now, I like to put it here because sometimes I don't like what I see coming in, and it can be hard to get to N8N and alter the prompt because the UI is a little funky on the phone, or I just want to do a quick fix. So here I can fix the prompt and use it in the next run. And so that would look like this. So now I have my prompt and I want to set up my agent. So this gets really cool. Now, this agent's not going to work, and that prompt's not going to work. I'll show you why in a moment. Because I was doing something different, and now we're going to just first get the data and structure the data. So let's just make a note of this. Get data from Upwork. Email. Now, when I say structure it, we're going to do a couple things here. Let me grab something. So we're going to have a structured node here, and structured data is super important to our work. And you'll see that I use it a lot, and you'll see that sometimes it fails, and we'll keep going at it. So in this case, I want to pull out some data. Now, I want a title. I want a TLDR to maybe help summarize it. And I want a rate type. I want to post it on. I want the link. And I want a posting reply. And I want a message country. Get rid of those. And technologies. Now, enough. We're just basically making sure that whether it's from Upwork or from this other one we're going to do, that when the data comes in, it is the data we want in the structure we want. So we're going to take this and turn it into, we're going to take this and turn it into this structure. Now you could do that with a bunch of regex, but then you're doing it for every provider you decide to throw at this. I can now take anything I see, send it to this mailbox, and it becomes part of this. So if we were to then throw something at this, so which LLM will I use? I can't use DeepSeek because it just won't handle the tools. And I don't know if we're going to use tools in this one. So let's use DeepSeek. And let's actually do one more thing here. I'm going to just use, I don't think we're going to need an AI agent for this. Let me delete this and put in a basic LLM so you guys can see that. And we're going to say, okay, basic LLM, you're going to get some information. The information is going to be the text plain. Hopefully they all have it. Then we're going to have a system prompt, and the system prompt is going to be the content from the Google Doc. Now we're going to go back to this Google Doc, and we're going to change this. Your role as an LLM is to take this data and help break it up into the fields we need to store the data. The particular fields you need are going to be title, rate, a TLDR to summarize the particular job, the rate type, usually fixed or hourly, and the amount, the posted on date in the following format, year-month-day, the link that the person should go to learn more, the country that the job is being posted from, if it's there. Lastly, the technologies involved, if any, for that particular posting. Prompting takes time. This might not be good enough. We'll have to run it a few times. We'll figure it out. Now, if we go to here again, we have this pin data because this is purple. And you remember we have this data here. So we don't have to hit this because that could be really frustrating. Okay. we can just run it, for example, and see that it goes here. And we don't have to even run it again. We can run this. And sometimes you have to click it twice. Then it's green. I don't want to pin this because we are probably going to update that. Now, this guy, we're going to now try DeepSeek and see what happens. Now, the reasoning model, we could try it and I think it'd take forever. Let's see how fast it is and how much it's worth it. Okay. And then we'll do the output. Now I'll show you what I mean by this. And this is good. So basically, if we run this now, let's see what we get. It does a lot of reasoning. Let's see if we can, it might be too much for this. We don't need a reasoning model. So that's a good reminder. You could run this on your machine. You could use Llama. That wasn't too bad. I don't know. It wasn't too bad, honestly. So yeah, it looks good. Yeah, we'll just keep it for now. It's fine. It's fine. I was going to try Grok. So we now have structured data. And we want to do something with that. We want to save it to that particular sheet we talked about a moment ago, which I don't know where it went to. Sorry about that. Sheet. Google Sheet. And a row and sheet. Google Sheet. And then append a row. And then postings. Now, I don't really like this because it was written for a different data structure, so I might make a new sheet, but let's just do this for a moment. Post it on. Source would just be, the source would be not so static, but we'll just do Upwork for now, and we'll show you the next one in a moment. The title, this will be subject, the TLDR, rate type, hourly, and then the link. I don't have a rate, so I guess that's something to think about. And then get rid of that. And that's an array, so it's going to be tricky. So we're going to put that in there. I think it will probably complain. So I think, forget the command for this. It's pretty easy, but you can go in here and say that. Let's see what that does. JSON string, and then that. Okay. We don't really want it as an array, and that's the thing. We're not doing stuff like searching and iterating at that level. We're going to give the LLM unstructured text. It's a tricky change in the mindset. Everything we want to normalize and keep it as array or whatever, but you can start to just give it text. It's interesting. You'll start seeing as these lessons go on. Let's get rid of that rate. I don't know. I didn't really find anything there about the rate. Let's see if it missed it. My prompt might not have been good enough. Yeah, 30 hours a week. Yeah, and even told you here, but I didn't get it. Probably because I didn't put rate in there. Let's try asking it for a rate. Let's fix our prompt or a, oops, I don't mean to click that, sorry. Let's see, we have a rate type. Oh, see, we didn't ask for that. Okay, let's ask for that. Rate. And let's see, so I guess we'll just run it again. We don't need to fix the prompt, so I don't need to run that. I just need to run this again. I am curious, and this probably won't work, is I'm going to say, okay, and when I click this, you get a different menu that only has these guys that will work here. And I just want to show you a speed, but I bet you this won't work. I bet you we get an error. So, well, we didn't. Let's see if it works. Wow, awesome. Okay. So you saw how fast that was. I'll be surprised if this works consistently. Structured output is hard enough. You don't want to use a model that has trouble with it, and Grok is awesome, but sometimes it doesn't always get structured data right. So you have more failures. If we have more failures, we'll put DeepSeek back in there, okay? So let's just see how this goes. So that was awesome. So now we'll go back to here with that new data, and we'll add a new field, rate. And where did you go? Awesome. Okay. Now, we now have data in our system, and this will, if I enable it, listen to that email box and dump data into the system. It's really that simple. We now have, I think, let me see if I run this. Let me run that, and then we'll go look. So now we will have on the bottom row, and I wish there was so much data in here because I was doing this for so long. Like I had thousands and thousands of rows. But you can see the work we just did just now to push that into the system, and it looks like an older gig, and we'll double check that this is really the right one. API integration. If not, it'll be at the top. One moment. Yeah, there you go. We got it in the system. Now let's get that other source into the system so we can see how to take data from two disparate places and put them in the same place. We want another one that will RSS feed. And so we'll do a manual trigger for now, and then we'll do a schedule trigger. Okay. Where did you go? Here you go. Sometimes it does weird stuff. So now we're going to scrape a website. And I don't mean scrape in a fancy way. We're just going to do something classic RSS feed. So we're going to go here and we're going to grab this RSS feed and see if we have an RSS one. Oh, we do. Ah, look at that. A feed trigger. That's interesting. Didn't even think of that. Every minute. Wow. Every day. We'll say every hour. Wow. That's pretty nice. So we're going to do a manual trigger though in this case, and we'll go RSS feed, and you saw the URL. We're going to do it here. Let's see what we get. Sick. So easy. And what about ignore? Oh, nope. Okay. So now we want to iterate over what we just found, and we want a loop. So that's good. And then we want to, let's see, get rid of this and get rid of this. Okay. All right. So now we're going to go through the loop and see if it can fit into that data source easily. If not, we either put it through the LLM or we decide to maybe change our goals to be this data source. It's a tricky one because then there's a third data source we'll add if we want. So forcing it into our consistent data structure might be the best idea. Okay, so let's loop over these, and we have 10 of them. We might as well just pin it for now so we're not hitting their site. And we're going to go loop. Let's see, so for each one, let's imagine it all works out and we can just stick it into this sheet. And I could point it up here, but I just don't want to. It doesn't hurt to have another one. And then if we do this and we do this, we're ready to go here. See how the green line goes there? And we could start putting data into the right columns. Here we go. See how the date format changes, but it might not matter. Layer jobs. And what do we got for a title? And then we have, that's interesting, so they don't have rates. Yeah, it's interesting. So they have a link and they don't have a rate. So we'll get rid of that, and we'll get rid of that. And we don't have a TLDR because the LLM's not making one. So let's go fix that and then come back to this. Now look at how I did everything. What I want to show you is that this is going to fail, and because we're about to move this out. So when I'm not being completely lazy, I would typically do this and then that, and then it's a more of a specific call. And then I would say the first JSON, and then it's back in business. So even though we're about to rejigger this, it will still work. Oh, I deleted the title. No big deal, but just annoying. Where are you? To the subject. There you go. So here we could do an expression and then title. Okay, see how it fills it in. Okay, but let's come back to that because we're about to break this. So we need some help after all, but the first particular help is gonna be Firecrawl. And it's just a great way to fetch links because you go to a page and it's full of junk, or it just needs that extra work. So again, copy paste, right? I have all these nodes everywhere. So let's delete that for a moment. Do this and paste from this other area I had. Fix the typo I had. And so we're going to post it to Firecrawl. We're going to use my HTTP header auth, generic, because it's so generic, header auth, and then I saved my header, authorization, bearer, space, my token. That's it. So at this point I have my auth and I want to do something. And I don't think I need this at all. I don't think I need that one. Okay, so now we want to know, where is this job posting? We want this one. So ideally, what's going to happen now when I run that, and when you run this, it can sometimes mess up and run all the nodes before. If you have that happen, just close it and click on this guy. It's a little bit more predictable. But now we have the markdown and you have been blocked. And this is what happens, right? So some sites don't like us going in there. Their feed doesn't have much information. So this one, we might not be able to grab more information, which is, yeah, it's a bummer. 403 status code. So let's do this. If status code, that's a number. So if I hover over it, it's a pound sign. Sorry, it's a number. Is equal to 403. Then we know it's blocked. And if it's blocked, we will go here. Oops, sorry. If blocked true, we go here. And we're gonna do, so let's see. We don't want to keep hitting Firecrawl because obviously it cost. So I was gonna think too, if blocked, that guy. I'm curious about something though now. So if we do this, we're gonna pin that, and then we're gonna go to see how there's no purple or green lines. We gotta run this. Let it do its thing, and then we get that, okay? And so now we can finish writing to this knowing that we just don't have a lot. We can say, oh yeah, whatever, I have something in the loop over. I have a creator, I like that. Let's do this, we have more room. And then we have, let's see, let's close that. We have what little information we have, right? Title, not get body. So that's all. And they do have some content here. I wonder if they ever fill it in. Let's just put it there. Content. I don't know this API enough to know what we will have or won't have. So let's just grab it anyways. Okay. All right. So now we have that. And then, of course, the important thing is a link. I wonder what that is. I want to see if I could use browser list to do it. Or Coolify, it's just easy to host stuff. I put on browser lists and tried. I think with another couple of hours, maybe, but it's really not worth it. But we're getting the gist here. Ideally, we would have got that site, but some of them we will. So let's see, if blocked, true, we still save it, but a different format. If not blocked, we will come back with some more information. So let us get to one that is not blocked. Let's see here. I'm going to return this back to this loop. And I'm going to undo this pin. And we have some items here, 10. So I think what I'll do is I'll just, let me see if I can run this. And I say that because, yeah, I say it because of that. Sometimes I'll run that one up there. So let's see if we can run this. Sometimes you have to just go one by one. Okay, so the loop is going to go through. We're going to hit the 10. But we're going to stop on one of these. So let's see, 10 items here. And a loop says that, and true, one true. That can be tricky to do a loop. So we know we have 1, 2. Let's see if we can get this to work. And deactivate that one for a moment. I'm going to run that. We want that to hit a false, and then we're going to pin it. Here we go. Cool. So we'll see. We want to, let's just pin this so we don't get stuck again. See how I deactivated that so we can run it. Because we have a workflow with multiple workflow items on it, we then had to pause that one so we could use that nice handy button. And so we go here, and we see that it came through, and we go here. Oops. We go here. Let's get this out of our way. So now we just want to, let's make this easy. We don't need that. Let's see if we can do, I don't know if we can do just a Grok chat model. See, that's going to be that guy. We don't want that. So let's just do a basic, I guess they want us just to use basic LLMs if we want to do something with chat. You could do something with ChatGPT or Anthropic. I was just going for the speed that I get out of Grok for a moment. And we're just going to say, hey Grok, go TLDR this for us. So we're going to go to define below, drag that open, and oops, and then put in our system prompt. Your role is to make a TLDR from this content. It's going to be used in a job posting area where we will help match employees or possible contractors to their job. So your TLDR should be built for that type of output. Okay, and then we will test it. And it says it executed successfully, but it did not. Try it again. This can be a pain, this one. Yeah, sometimes you just get stuck. It's interesting too, because we even had a false. So this guy goes to here. Then this guy goes to here. Oh, it shouldn't have been a true though. Yeah, we have some pin data. Sorry. So we have this, and we can edit this, and we'll get it down to just the one we know we want right now, this one. Okay. We don't need to do 10 to prove our thing works. We just want to get it down to 1. So it's nice. I can edit those pin data items, and it's just really nice. And this should go to the false, if I remember right. Yep, there we go. So then we have our TLDR, and we can then, I'll duplicate this, not reuse it. It's not worth the headaches of matching everything. Okay. So we're going to go open up this guy, and we're going to say, okay, 2 milliseconds, loop over. Source subject TLDR. So now we should be able to do that. And that's it. Oh, we don't have tech. Oh, we could do that as well. So let's try something here. It's mostly going to be, let's do this. This will be nice. One moment. We're going to say structured output. And we're going to say TLDR. And then the tech. I don't really care if it's JSON. So I'm just going to say tech. Technology stack. Okay. We're going to say Laravel, JavaScript, or Vue, like that. Okay, so now we're going to do this again. Let's see if this will work. Yeah, see, it gets tricky. I don't know why. If I pin this, let's see if we pin this, and I run that. See, it goes there. It's annoying. But because I pinned this, it went quick. And because it's Grok, it went quick. And then we got what we wanted. All right, cool. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. All right. Nope. Sorry. There we go. Nope. We gotta fix that other one too. Okay. And there we go. Now we would be able to insert that into a sheet, which I think we've done 3 times now. So let's delete all of that. And let's back to here and do the 1. And then we see it working, which is nice and simple. Don't worry about the date formatting. You can fix that if you really want. Wow, that is tempting. We could do rate and hourly. I'm not going to worry about that right now. Probably something like remote would be important. So we can bring this up a notch. Okay. So now we have data from 2 sources. We have a feed and we have the email. Now, when this is done, I'm going to go back in the loop and we're going to run this for real. Now, every time this feed gets updated, it's going to run. And I think if I just put that there, it would probably just run as a feed. And then it will run every day, fetch URL. And I could probably fetch it right now, which would be nice. And then I could get rid of this actually. And let's see what happens. I've never done a feed before like this. If we go back to here and we do our feed again, and I put that back into the feed, not the trigger, sorry, let's go get that. And put the feed back in there. RSS, no, we just want RSS. Okay, put the URL there. Okay. Yeah, it looks like the same format, so we should be okay. The loop will get the same type of data. It really should be okay because this is an array of that object, creator, title, link, and then this is going to be an array of that object as well. So we're okay. Now I want to fill the system up just for the heck of it. So I want to run this, and as you saw, we could unpin this and just run it. So now everything's unpinned and we can just let this guy run. And what is that? 15 items, not a big deal. It's a little bit of a Firecrawl problem. Okay, yeah, look at this. So this is more common with Grok. The output won't fit the goal. Looking at this, we use Anolis, we use cookies. They're just like, hey, you're not giving us enough information. We don't want to let you see our content. Yeah, so we're pushing our luck for no good reason. And then it's interesting because they didn't give us a Firecrawl error. They just basically said, no thanks. So let's see if we could see this for a moment. Here it is. Success true, meta. It's just, I don't know. The data is a lot of data, but it didn't like the formatting. So it just happens with formatting. So I'm gonna, even though I love how fast Grok is, I'm gonna go with ChatGPT because it is the best for formatting. And I don't, man, they're releasing models left and right. We'll stick with 4 mini because it's quick. So yeah, you can see Grok is awesome, but it can get tricky. I really like Grok, but I just can't do structured objects as well. So let's take this here just to keep that lined up, and let's activate that. All right, so we have data. I'm going to let that run for a moment. So we have data from 2 sources now. And we want to be able to allow ourselves to chat with the data if we vectorized it. We didn't vectorize it. It is tricky. It's all in a spreadsheet, and that's why I was going to do this other way. So what we're going to do is have a sign up, and that sign up will allow someone to then be part of the automation system. So the sign up we could just do really simply with a new node here form. And of course you could do this via email as well, as you saw. We're going to do a create a new innate form event. So now what we want to do is take a form, and that form will be put into the NoCoDB as far as like people who are interested in using this. So I would say, okay, enter your information here, and we'll run an AI script daily to see if there's any incoming jobs that might match your goals, your email. And then it's required foo@bar.com. But we want to make a text area. And this, we're going to just not really try to structure it. And this is another thing that like you start to realize. Now I wish we could do text area. Yeah, about you. Okay. I am a developer looking for contract work, full-time or part-time, 10 hours to 40 hours a week. Short-term or long-term, has to be remote. My skills vary from Laravel to Next.js. I have a lot of experience with AI and LLMs. I can build full-stack websites, and I can really help startups to take their idea and make it a reality. Okay, that's obviously placeholder, but we're going to come back and use it. I'm going to leave this like this for just a moment. And then we're going to say, okay, when this form comes in, and we'll do a test one right now. Let's do a test one. So let's save that. And we'll do a test one. And let's see. Okay. And then we'll pin that. Let's move that over. One moment. Okay. Now we want to put it into the NoCoDB we have. Let's see. How would I do this for you? So NoCoDB is really easy to host. Coolify is a great way to host it. I'm going to make a new base, and I'll call it downwork. It's basically just a collection of spreadsheets. Create a new table. Let's see, we'll call this contractors, right? Okay. And then in here, we're going to say the person's email, and we're going to put and then that will be long text. Rich. Okay. So that's it. So now all we want to do is say when someone enters a form, we're going to put that in our NoCoDB. And create a row. Again, you could do this with Google Spreadsheets. The only reason I like NoCoDB is sometimes I'll hit Google Spreadsheets 100 times in a second or a minute. I forget the number. And boom, it gives you a 429. You have to like slow everything down. So I've been using NoCoDB just to help avoid those problems. But use Google Spreadsheets, right? Let's see. So I already added it. It was really easy. API token in the URL. Row, create, choose a workspace number or ID, and then a base ID. Let's see, downwork, and then contractors. Okay. And then we'll say, let's see, fail to send. That would be about you. And they don't do the Google Spreadsheet thing that I like, but let's just do that. And then we're going to do another one called email. And then we'll just do that. And it gets funny because it is a little bit tricky on that one. If we rename a field in the form, it really does mess it up. Let's go back to our guy here and say joined at. And then we could do text. We could do date. Let's see if we can do this. We'll try it really quick. Date, time, year, month. Set default value. Let's see if we can actually push that one in. I sometimes never get the formatting right. Let's see, joined at. All right. I'm going to do that, add that, and submit it at. That might not be the right format. We'll find out. Hey, it worked. And let's close it and reload it. And boom. All right. Now, we obviously want to tell the person all is good. Form ending. Thanks. And then say, thanks for joining. You'll get a daily email and we'll let you know if any jobs seem to fit your criteria. Okay. So now we want to click on this form and say, and I want it to, maybe it automatically does it now. I want it to go all the way through. So I'm pretty sure it automatically does. So is this guy live? Yeah, this is live. Let's go get the production URL and do it. And then that's not what I want. There we go. Submit it. Yep. Okay, cool. That's what I wanted. All right, so we're all set. Let's go here. Oops, and get rid of that. Okay. So now the last part of this is the automation. So let's see. Get data from Upwork emails. Wow, that got messy. Hold on a moment. And we'll make this API in a moment. What's the word for it? We'll post it from a nice looking site. Have user submit email daily. Okay. And I could then, that's on, that should be getting those things and saving them. Let's see. The RSS is ready. I can add a whole bunch more. Sharing this can get messy. And I like to document this stuff because you'll come back and be like, what was this again? So let's do that. Job feed. None of our many feeds. Yes, there will be more feeds. Again, feeds could be Google or LinkedIn jobs. Google searches, actually, that could be a good one. All right, let's see. Now, the next thing we want to do is actually schedule the daily email. And then after that, we'll build up a quick web UI to interact with it like the form, but better. And potentially we'll do a chat. That one would need RAG. And let's see how the email goes. Sorry, the daily, it will be an email too. So let's see. Let's say, we'll do it as a chat though, because we might not need vector. Let's try it. So now first let's do this. Oh, I copied this somewhere. Here we go. Now we're going to make the daily email their skills. Okay. And then, so we're going to do, see, this is going to get tricky because I'm going to want to trigger this and I'm going to be triggering everything else. We can get rid of this. Let's bring this down here. That's why, because I can only have one trigger. Okay. And then we don't need to run this again. So now this is going to go every time, every day. Now, we could do it more. Every day, every X, every 2 hours. Okay, let's try that. Yeah, that's cool. Okay. Man, if we could find a bunch of feeds, that'd be cool. Daily email. So we're going to do, we're going to say, okay, we're going to just do this. NoCoDB. And again, it could be a Google Sheet. And we're going to say, NoCoDB, get me many rows, downwork, and contractors. And we'll say return all. And I don't know why we're downloading an attachment. Okay. So we only got one. I'll get another person's information shortly so we can do two, but it's basically a loop. And we can then say, let's see, now we don't really need to do much. And then we don't need much there. Now, let's see, we want to get the jobs up ahead of time. So let's go do that and load those up. So let's say load jobs. So that's in the Google Sheet. And get rows in a sheet. Now, Let's see if this holds up. We'll call this get latest jobs. Now, job postings and then postings. Now here's the thing though. Posted on, data location output for my return name matching rows. We can't really do something that is considered to be easily queried. Sheet's not letting us sort, it's not letting us filter. It has a filter, but can we do something with that filter that's more advanced? Let's see. Choose the first. Ah, there's some expressions. Do diff. Those aren't Google Sheet expressions. Those are just that. It's expressions like that. So I guess my problem is, like, what can I really do with this sheet to filter? Get rows, right? Filter. Here we go. Comments. Yeah, cool if we could do formatting. Let's see something here. Get rows, get job postings. A lot of rows. This sheet's going to get big, very big. So that is a problem. And we can decide to figure out how to do filters. Assume the NoCo might have a better filter system. And then we can move it over, which is pretty easy. NoCoDB. Get many rows. I'll just do this one for now. Return all. View fields, sort. And then let's see. So that would be posted on now. So we could say do a sort on that, and we could do a filter on that. Maybe we have to. Let's give this a try. This will be a good example. So Google Sheets are great until they're not. I can do a quick move. Let's go do that. I'm sure there's 100 ways to do this. Probably could even just dump it, honestly. Let's see. Let's go posted. I'm just gonna like underscores. And then we'll say link. Okay. And we're gonna export this. Comma separate. So we'll do this first. If this doesn't work, we'll do a different way. And then we'll go to our NoCo and we'll go down work. We'll create another table, and this table will be job postings. And let's see if we can import that. Let's just see what happens. Downloads, and then use first record as headers. Let's see what happens. Let's see. So it's an ID. And posted on. Let's see what happens with I don't know what these are. Oh, it's all the same field. I see. So I guess we got to. It doesn't make the fields on the fly like Supabase does. So let's do this really quick. So we're gonna say let's go just move this down here for a moment. This up, and then we'll just say okay, say ID, and it must be built in. Okay, that's fine. Posted on date, update, and then we'll say source is just a single line of text, and subject single line of text, rate, oops, line of text. Rate type. Yes, I could have done this in Supabase. I just want to show about keeping it simple. TLDR, and hosting my own Supabase has been pretty good. But again, single line text. Okay, then if we import that file, CSV data. Okay, that. Then the source would be. Source. Oh, those are built in. I see. Those are built in. Okay, cool. Subject. Huh. Oh, it's up here. Subject would be field. I wonder what it wants me to. Oh, rate type. TLDR and then link. Okay. Boom, boom. Upload. Okay. And then we can cross that one out. So let's do this. Oops, I was gonna do something desperate there. Let's not do that. We'll just delete that. Ah, you can't even delete it. Okay, so we can go back to here and we're gonna just quickly pivot. This guy, let's see, what can we do here? Let's take that out of here for a moment. And I'm gonna go open this up in a different window so I can just copy paste and then we'll be ready to roll. All right, let's see. And then we're gonna go to here and NoCoDB. Again, pretty nice how quick we can pivot. We're gonna create a row. NoCoDB, downwork, job postings. And then we're gonna say, I think it will handle the ID for me from here on, so that's just different. I just won't worry about it. We're gonna do the posted on. And then the posted on would be the posted on, if everything works. Expression. And then the source is just Upwork. And then the field name for the next one is subject. And then make sure to click expression. And I think it's subject. Let's go look. Actually, we don't need this guy anymore. So let's go do this. And we get subject. And then we gotta make sure that's an expression. And it won't show anything because we haven't loaded anything yet. Subject. And then we're gonna do rate. Oops, rate. Okay. Expression rate. Let's see, rate type. Rate type. Okay, and then expression. And then TLDR. TLDR. Kick that expression in and then go TLDR. Okay, and a link. A very important one, link. Okay. Pivot, pretty good. And do that in code. I dare you. Get rid of that, and we're set to go here. And then we're going to do the same here. Let's save that. And then let's adjust this. Let's reload that. Gonna get myself some more copy paste. This guy is here, and then this is here. So we're going to delete that. Actually, let's do this because it gets weird. Duplicate, and then move, and then do that. Okay, and then escape. That, and then that. Okay, so in this guy, we just paste some values into. We don't need the ID. Post it on. I don't know what's going to happen with these dates, because I assume it automatically deals with the formatting. Source is going to be layer jobs. Subject will be that. And oops, I think some of these I don't really have access to. That, and then I think this was the guy. We didn't have much of a TLDR. So I think our TLDR is actually the title. All right, and then we got rid of some of them. Let's see, so we got the subject. Posted on, source, subject, rate, we don't have TLDR, link, GUID. Okay. Oh, not a lot of information about that one, so it's going to be, I guess some of them will get more information. Okay. So we're going to add the same nocode. So let's duplicate it, and then let's delete this and this. Put that there, and then let's save for a moment, and then we're going to copy paste from that guy, and then we'll be ready to roll again. We might have some errors. We'll go through it, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. this over, and we're going to say loop over item. Post it on, probably the same thing, but I'm just going to copy it over just in case. And then we have maybe a few more things. Source is layer jobs. Subject we have, but I'll copy it over. Oops, sorry, this one. Okay, now the TLDR, we got a little bit more happening here, which is great. And the link, we might have more for us here. Link, same thing, okay. And then the technology stack, that's what we got here. So we got that tech. What'd we call it there? Oh, shoot tech. So we're just stringing that up. String tech. And let's see, long text. Okay. And then you would have to wonder, where did all our stuff go? Is it in that CSV file? I think so. Let me grab that. Let's see, downloads. Pretty sure we just lost a column that I don't want to lose because it's cool. Posted. Wonder how we lost it. Maybe we were never saving it. I don't know. Let's make sure we save it this time, and then let's see. That's not what I meant to do. I meant to delete this. Okay, so now we have the tech. Now when they come in, we save it. We're all set to go. Now we can use it. Okay. So back to this. Get the developers. Let's call it what it is. This is the contractors, we'll call it. The interested party, and then get the recent jobs. We want, and this will make sense in a moment. So we can delete that. So get the recent jobs, and we want to return. We want to return all that meet the filter. And the filter will be, let's see, it'll be whatever ChatGPT says it is. So let's try that. All right, so let me get ChatGPT over here so we can all see it together. And let's do that. And that's the nice thing about using these open source tools is we usually can get help. Using NoCoDB, and the field is posted on with a date format of year, month, day. We want to filter by today. We'll say yesterday to today. Let's hope it works. And then we gotta hope our posted on really works, which we can always fix if it's that easy. And some of these sort ascending, sort, we'll rig up these dates to be relevant. Yeah, these are weird because it thinks I made them. I don't want a bunch of our stuff coming in as PHP, but we'll just get the thing right, and then we'll come back to that. Okay. Filter by formula, blah, blah, blah. JSON yesterday, JSON today. I don't think JSON yesterday exists, honestly. We can do this, we can do this, and we can do this. See what I mean? There are a bunch of expressions they give us. We have time, obviously. From AI. Yeah, today. So let me tell ChatGPT that it's streaming. Oops. And I want to make sure I get like end of day, beginning of day. Let's give it a go. See if it really works. Always the tricky part. Hey, it looks okay. I don't know if it's going to match. We'll see what happens. So I think we could do this. Format. If not, I'll show ChatGPT. Format. Year, month. Oops. Month, day. And I guess it's year. Huh. Then we'll do this one, the same thing. Okay, now let's run it again, and then if that doesn't work, we'll is not supported. Okay, interesting. My format did not work, neither did it. Yeah, it's a bummer. I'm just gonna use it and then give it this screenshot. Same thing, buddy. And while it's doing that, I'm just gonna look. NoCoDB. We will see. Stuff sometimes is not easy. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Let's see. Maybe it's really easy and I'm just being lazy. I think it's just gonna be that. And then let's rewrite it. And month, day, year. Okay, let's try that. And then let's see what happens. There we go. Gosh, so good. Not me good, this stuff's good. So now we have a bunch. We have more than we want of the same olds, but we want some diversity here in the jobs. So we're gonna say, let's copy this. And then, what is it, the 10th? Let's put this as the 9th. Actually, I don't think that one helped. Oh, those are Upwork because of how I did that. Okay. So let's go the other way then. Okay. Shouldn't matter. We're going to get a good sense of things. And let's assume a lot of jobs come in every day. So this could get big and unwieldy. We'll come back to that in a moment. But here's the problem. I'm getting all these jobs and I don't want to iterate over them. I want to combine them into something. So I'm going to aggregate them into something like this. Individual fields, all data in a single list. If I did that, it would just not do much. Put data into field, all fields. Specific fields, all fields. Let's see, I want boop-a-doo posted on subject rate LDR, and then the link, and then the tech if there is any. It mashes it into a list. I was hoping for something flatter. Let's see if there's anything else we can do. All data into a single list. Let's see what that does. Let's zoom in here. So I don't want to loop over those. I want to make them into another list that we can use. But now I want to basically mash it together. And I do this a lot. So I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to say to N8N, sorry, into ChatGPT. Let's go open that a little bigger because it's annoying. Is that, hey, we have this data coming in. And it never does this right the first time, but I always get it to work. We have this data coming in. And I want this code node to mash it together, merge it together. And it would be posted on subject TL in tech, and then link. Yeah, that's all I want. One flat file, we give it to the LLM, we take advantage of all the token space, the context space. So here we go. This never works the first time. And before I run that, let's just start pinning some things so I don't have to keep running them. So then let's run that. Wow, no. It never works the first time. So let's see. Really, I hate how it does that data thing. So what I'll do here, there's a couple of things we can do. One is I can console log like this, and this is a good one to learn. And if I do that, I think I showed this in another video, and then do this. Log. And I actually want to, oh, I don't want to do that. Let's go run this. I wanted to actually clear this, but it looks like I broke my filter. Oh, there we go. So console dot log. Okay, so we got that. So it's 0 JSON data, 0 JSON data, 0 JSON data. So all I need to do is say .json .data. .json dot. That is a good question. So weird. Why does it do that? I must have done the aggregate in a weird way. Again, post it on. So let's see. So now, let's see. We think it's there, and that is correct. hosted on? Problem on code. God, progress on line 3. Oh, so they brought it out here. That's no big deal. They were trying to do it here, and I don't think we want to do it that way. And that's okay. Someday I'll get it to work with this. Markdown. Okay, good. So now we have our markdown. Let me close that. Okay. And I might as well pin it for the heck of it. Okay, so now we have our markdown of what our jobs look like. We'll call it the postings merged. And the LLM doesn't need all the spacing we need, so it's going to be okay there. We have our contractors. So we have our recent jobs. We smash them together. We then iterate over them and smash them together some more. We get our contractors. And that's now the real work. So now we do a basic LLM. Now, all we're going to do is a basic LLM thing. I don't think we need any tools just yet, but it could be fun to have tools later on. So let's do another basic LLM. And we're going to grab the data from that previous one, which will make sense in a moment. Contracts. So ideally, these guys only get run once, and then we loop. And then in here we say here's all our job postings smashed, and here's all that. So here is our developer, and then we have the email of the developer, of course. We don't need that just yet. And then we have our system prompt, and we're going to say we're passing in the user information, the jobs they like, the work they want to do. And we're including a bunch of job postings that happened in the past day. We just want you to find any job postings that might match the user's goals, even though sometimes the technology might not line up perfectly. And then create a very succinct list of those items, why it's a good match, and then make sure to include the link to the job. If no jobs are found that match, just say, sorry, no jobs found today. We'll try again tomorrow, period. And you don't need to say period anymore. All right, so now we're going to open this up and we're going to say jobs are below. Now, what's interesting here, together, recent jobs, here we go. This could get huge, so let's take advantage of something for a moment. This is where this stuff's pretty amazing, is how we can do this. So we're going to say, let's do Gemini. I don't even know. I think, what is the DeepSeek reasoner? So the question becomes, how much can we fit into it? So the API supports a maximum 64K length, which I wonder if that's the JSON limit. See, Gemini is huge. Let's try Gemini for a moment, because I'm curious about that. I think DeepSeek would be amazing price-wise. Google Gemini. And we'll set up our creds. Let me pause while I do this. Just so you can see how easy this is. I went to Google Gemini.Studio, AI.Studio, just Google it. Usually their keys used to be hard to get. I got annoyed with Google, but it looks like they really did a good job here. So I'm going to put that there. We're going to click save, and we should go green, which is great. And then the question will be, what one do I use? And I think it's the new ones, the 2s. Multimodal motion, cross multi-translation. We don't need a ton of data, and I think flash means fast. Ah, man, they have horrible naming. Horrible naming. We could lower the temperature, but let's not worry about that right now. Okay, so we got our loop. We have this guy, and then we have this guy. So, yeah. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, looks good. Let's go send that as an email. Let's go do that. So I'm going to do SMT, and I'm going to send it. Now, I could use Postmark. But I'm going to use, actually it'd be good to use Postmark. Let me see if I can grab my Postmark and we'll set that up. Postmark. Yeah, let me go do that one moment. Okay, I just set up Postmark, which is a good service. Everybody probably knows about it. Just in case you don't. And I'm going to do both now. I'm going to do both email, and then I'm going to, let's pin this for a moment. I'm going to add something here. I think it's Markdown. I think it's outputting Markdown. And I saw the postmark thing there, but it's just a trigger. I think. I'll double check though. And then what would be nice if we could then say, and then we could say text in HTML. Okay. And that's it. Then of course we'd want to loop it around, but there's only me on this right now. So now we could just run this, and I should get an email. Man, that's slow. So that's where I would probably use Mailtrap for testing, and Postmark might have a Mailtrap. I just don't know. Let's give that a test. Oh, wrong thing. All right. So yeah, this can be a pain. The form is getting triggered, and this is not. So we want to run this every day. So we're going to do a couple things here. We're going to add a new trigger, and that's going to be our schedule. Daily, we'll say 5 a.m. And then this guy doesn't matter. But this next thing I'm going to do is a sheet, and I'm going to do a webhook that, and I'll make it a get. And that will just help me kick this off from my browser. And then I'll go like this, and I'll just hit it, and it should do it. And that should make that run. And then in a moment, I should see something if it made it. Now, let's go look at our execution. It's still running, and it looks like it made it through. Looks like we didn't have any errors. So then, if we go here, let me pop this out so I can share something. I want to make sure it must be in the system twice. So we saw the 2 worked. Let's double check I am in the system twice. Go down to here, contractors. Yep, I am. Okay. And let's pop this open. And let's see. It'll be interesting, like, how accurate is it? And then tweak the prompt as needed. I would really have to figure that one out. And that's where I would have to bring this out as another hot prompt moment. So I would say copy to editor, unpin everything. And then I would go make a new prompt. So let's go do that. Let's go quickly tie this together. So let's go to Drive, and then we'll go to My Drive, and then we'll go Daily AI, Videos, Course, and then we have a prompt. Transcripts rendered raw modules. Finding stuff. Postings. Okay. And then we'll go to new file, and this will be the contractor prompt, right? Prompt for contractors. Okay. And what we want to do is then say contractors post that, and then we will take this and throw that in there. Okay, and then I don't need to share the whole thing. What I need to do is just load it, because we're loading everything ahead of time. So let's do another one and get a document. Document public that. And that is great, okay. And we'll call this the contractors prompt. Again, naming them helps. And then we're going to go over here and pop this open like this. And sometimes you won't see it. Oh, we do. Okay, cool. Sometimes you won't see it, but we did. And that's about it. Sometimes we didn't run this, so it's okay not to see it. But sometimes if I don't, I would do this. I don't think this will help, but I'm just going to show you. Yeah, it did work. I don't know why, but sometimes you do switch the item for first, and it's just better. They actually mentioned it in the doc somewhere. But I'm not sure if you want to do this everywhere, like in a loop, you'd be getting maybe the first one. So we have now, in a relatively short amount of time, believe it or not, I got distracted trying to set up a browser to scrape pages. So now we have our email in place. We are scraping from email. We're hot prompting it and sending it over to our NoCoDB. We're then storing this in our NoCoDB, which I'm looking for. Sorry, let's just go open it up again. And we're storing it in here, which is pretty nice. Again, we can just get cranking. No worries right now about the data size. Your idea might suck. It might never work. No one might use it. Then you're done. If it's not sucky, then move it to something like Supabase, host your own, just anything you can to just get your idea out there. So email trigger, Supabase to Newton, that we've learned structured data. By hot prompting, we can go mess with the prompt, but more importantly, the structured data feature really helps us to make that do that data. That's pretty awesome. And then for this guy, we take in more structured data, data that's more structured. So we don't need that. We iterate over it, Firecrawl what we can. If it's blocked, we just give up and put it in the database the way we can. Yes, we're giving up on that one. And then whatever we can get, we pass it to the LLM to pull out the TLDR in the technology stack. We pop that into NoCoDB, same thing. Then people can submit their forms, not the prettiest form, which we're going to come back and build a decent UI for it. We'll use Lovable for that and keep it simple. We'll keep it simple. We're going to make some more complex apps later on, but I want to not go too crazy here. This is already going to be a long video. Very long video. 2 hours. And we take those submissions and put them in NoCo. Lastly, we just run something every day or when we want to. And we then get the data out of recent jobs, smash them together. And we then get the contractor prompting, and we then grab each contractor and iterate over them. I use Gemini here just to take a moment to try the different ones. There's such a big context window, 2 million. We don't have to worry about running out of tokens, supposedly. We take the results, which seem to be consistently marked down. I could probably tell it marked down. So again, this is a hot prompt. And then I would, in the prompt, say, keep it in markdown. Oh, I don't need this, by the way. I shouldn't have done that. Format is markdown. So that's it. We've updated our prompt. And then we get the output and we send ourselves an email. Now, one other thing we could do is make sure we could mark people as sent for today, because we wouldn't want to send them like 5 emails and drive them nuts if something goes wrong. Those are a little detail work. But maybe they want 4 emails a day. I don't know. Maybe we run this every bit and we'd have to really think that through. That's where the details really come in. Yeah, it'll be interesting to think about it. I'm going to use this for myself, but it's something I've been thinking about. All right, we'll come back in a moment and do some Lovable. Okay, we're going to plug in Lovable to talk to this. And the on-form submission makes an API we can hit, I think, with a post. So let's give it a try. Let's see, we'll do the testing one for a moment, and then we'll go to Postman, which is a great way to get going with this. And we'll grab that testing one. Let's see what it is. Let's go to Postman, and I think, let's give ourselves some room here. Let's see, new, and that will be, I think it's post, or we'll find out, one moment. Sign up. Okay, and I think we'll do, it's typically going to be that. Now we can just copy this out of here. I don't think it's going to be an array, so let's see what happens there. Okay, go back to Postman. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing, and we don't need this stuff. Let's not worry about that. Test, unpin, send test. Interesting. Okay, that did not work. Let's go find out why. I sent that in, it got it, but it didn't seem to match the form submission. I really wanted to match the form submission. So let's go back and let's see, what is this? Oops, did not mean to do that. Actually, what we can do, sorry. I'm gonna just do this. I'm gonna make this super easy because it's just all too easy. Hold on. Why bother with the way I was doing it? We are going to do this, done. Pin it and move on. So we have a new webhook. Oops, that doesn't need to go there. But what we do want to do is duplicate this. I hate when it does that. Find the node. Then we're going to send it back there. Okay. So now we're going to say we're going to use the webhook. When it comes in, we're going to put those pieces in place because it's so awesome. Let's see. That would be email. And then, which is silly now that we think about it. So let's just do email and about you. About you. Okay. So let's hit that test again. Unpin the data, throw that at it. And there we go. Let's get rid of the word test. Not that it matters. We're not going to run that. Pin that data, close that. Go here. And then we see email. And then we see about you. Joined as, submitted at. Email and about you. About them. Okay. So we got that. And we know that's going to work. And then we'll just let the person know. We can just let them know it's a good submit. Let's see. We can just do JSON response. We can just say status success. It doesn't really matter. And then it's going to default to a 200. And then we're going to go to this guy and just say, you know what, wait till the last node finishes. And that's it. So that guy's set to go. Now, what I was trying to say before is that we're going to make an authorization key for it. We'll call it a header auth. Wait. Yeah, header auth. And it's a new one. So let's go make a new one. And this will be for our let's see, sign up, downwork. And then this is authorization. And then this, if I can spell correctly. This, I hate that you can't see it, but what it's going to be is this. And then a key. So I go to anything, really, to generate a key. Done. And we're going to put this into it. So bear, space, and the key. So that's all it's going to be. Bear, and then space, and the key. All right, authorization. Okay, done. So now to use this, they have to do that. And that is it. So now let's go to Lovable. And we're going to say Lovable. Not localhost. Lovable. Let's see. It's always tricky to get it to look good. I want it to look halfway nice. Let's just do this. Man, design is hard. Using these colors, I need a nice form. Modern looking, maybe in a card with borders. The form should ask for 2 fields, your email and about you. And then the placeholder text should basically be some placeholder saying, explain who you are as a developer or contractor, what type of work you're looking for, specific technologies or just general, your availability and remote or on-site, and we will use this to help find you some work. If it can't do this, we'll just pull up cursor. Just sometimes this could be easier for a UI sometimes. The stuff is still slightly unpredictable. You can see some of this app we could build in here and not end it in. I just like to keep some of the complexity out of this because it just can take a while and it can sometimes be unstable because it changes things. But soon it's going to be so easy to just build stuff in here. It might not matter, honestly. Oh, here you go. Not bad. Let's see something. Learn about Supabase. See, yeah, I think this is okay. I think it uses Supabase to store the environment variables. Let's see what it says. I thought, because it's Netlify, it should just work. If I put it on Netlify, I'll see what it says. It might not be what I'm thinking. Blah, blah, blah. Really, I don't want to do... Netlify is great. Supabase is great. Again, I could just do my own Next.js quick app with cursor. Blah, blah, blah. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah, they're front end only. Okay, let's try this. Let's see. Again, Supabase is great. I just don't want to pay for just something to store credentials. Let's see if Bolt can do it. I'm really not sure. Let's see what happens. I'll go use something else. I was just see if it can do it. Question is, where will it deploy it, and do I have to have another service? Wow, actually looks way better. Let's see. So let's see. Okay, great. Replace your existing. Okay, see, but if I do that, it's public. Yeah, it's nice. I wonder, wow, this is great. I'm not going to deploy it here because I won't even press a button. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah. Let's see if there's any errors. It's changed. There? Funny. Jeez. Does anything just work? Interesting. I don't know what it does with my logo. Alfred. Alright, let's just see. Failed to submit form in embedded page. I think it's pretty close. Interesting. I'm not sure. Let's see something here. I'm going to download this and let's see. That's that. Let's try something because I'm not sure if the problem is. I don't know what the problem is. Okay, let's call this down work. Nope, definitely not theirs. Down work. Let's see, what am I going to use? I'll do cursor. Let's move this over. Open folder. PM install. Man, npm run dev. I think I might need the back end too. And then, okay, let's see. Cores error. Surprised, maybe because they're not their same. Oh, let's see. Unhandled error. Already in use. Oh, okay. Sorry. 3001. I get it now. Okay, we're back to this. Okay, cores error. So it's going to do config. It's going to do a port. Change the port. Client URL. So odd. I've never seen cores on that. What a pain. I don't know enough about this to really try and troubleshoot. I don't know. What a pain. Usually it's not this hard. Address already in use. Interesting. Address already in use. Because I have 100 things running, maybe? Client URL. Yeah, because I just did that. It sounds so discovered something new. I'm coming back to show you what I did. Sometimes coding this stuff can be easier when it comes to front end stuff for me. The back end we cranked out in less than 2 hours, probably even less. That to code would have taken me a day or two. I'm still getting a handle on the front end stuff. Cursor, Lovable, Bolt. I went through all three of them. I ended up with Cursor, things are working. It just struggles because if you move from one thing to another, it doesn't always know where to start. And just sometimes it's knowing, with any of this, it's knowing the questions to ask. And I don't have that sense yet with pure front end stuff. I'll get there. And then I did hosting on Coolify, which was great because I'm building up confidence there and I'm getting myself to a place where I can just not have to deal with just the expenses of Netlify and everything. They're all good. You'll see we already have some traffic coming in. This one is coming in from the job, so it's great. This one, we hope it's coming from the job. See, this one's just old. It's weird. It's almost like, this is so weird. It's almost like I have this open some other tab. I gotta go look. I got so many tabs open. I'll go look. But see, so they're working, and then the ones we're sending, so you see, let's go see what came in. So an email came in, all this busyness, it's all of that crap. But then we parse it down because I think we just grabbed the text. Yeah, there, we just grabbed that. But then we grab it out and we put it into the back end. Nice. So then tomorrow, wow, some cool jobs too. So tomorrow, but the rates are so low, man. That's okay though. Tomorrow, we'll hopefully get the automatic email. We'll have to see. All right, but that's it. We did a lot in the back end. We did a lot. And we did get a front end working. We'll surface more of those details later. I just don't want to drag you through what I went through. And it's basic JavaScript stuff, so it will be fun to learn, but it won't be mind-blowing. And it just talks to its own backend to proxy some, so I can use a bearer token to talk to this. Anyways, we'll come back to that later. I hope you enjoyed the hands-on. This was huge. And this whole module is done. We're moving into the next one. These hands-on are my favorite, though. Everything else is good. It's just nothing beats hands-on. All right, thank you.